Hello, troopers, and welcome back to General Kenobi's Bunker. Thank you so much for joining me here on this other fine episode of The High Ground. It is Wednesday night, and you know what that means. We get to hang out, we get to have some fun, we get to talk some Star Wars news, some some things that didn't go quite right with a certain game. But before all that, let me bring in my co-host, the one, the only, the Dad Vader. What is going on, brother?
What is up? I think I've already screwed up something here trying to get this live going on Instagram here.
Here, let me. I don't know why
But
it always sends you to my. There we go. So I feel weird like looking the other way when you're technically or to my left. So there we go. All right, that's much better.
yeah,
Um,
that'll work.
yeah. So how are things? How's it going?
Technologically, we're in the dark ages here, not knowing what I'm doing, clicking buttons and screwing stuff up. So about normal, about normal.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you. If you want, just send me the key again, and we can try it on your Instagram. We can add it
Yep.
or re-add it here.
I'm gonna send you the key again.
Yep.
Uh, so give me 1 second here because I like to type with my fingers like this.
That's all right.
But give me
All
one
right.
second and I will have the new code to you.
Sounds good. I'll add it once you give it to me. But in the meantime, let me say hi to the chat already here present. What's going on, Bunker Bunch? We got my clunky cast in the house saying, hey, hey, I'm early this time. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. We got Jeff in the house saying, hello there. What's up, brother? We got the Dad Vader pulling double duty. Look at that. Let's go, Bunker Gang. Let's do it. Ultra Carosilla, what's up, man? Here and sorry I can't stay long as I have work tomorrow. No worries, man. I just appreciate you coming in and showing some love. Thank you for that. Um, all right, let me copy this key here. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna get it for sure. All right,
One of these
adding
days
you.
we're gonna get this going.
Oh, for sure. Let's see. Save changes. All right. So technically, we should be transmitting to your Instagram. So go ahead and give it a whirl. Let me keep going here with the chat. Trust me, guys, you will love Terminator Zero anime once you watched all the episodes on Netflix. And my buddy John Joker enjoyed it a lot and gave it 10 out of 10, the same ranking I gave. I did watch Terminator Zero. I watched all of it, and I'm sorry to say I don't share that rating, Ultra Carter. There were things that were very original, and I talked about it here on Monday during the live stream. I'll go a little bit, into it right now. To give Mike a couple minutes to get his live going. Um,
I I think it's working. I believe I
okay.
got four people jumping on thus
Oh,
far.
sweet. We are live.
So yeah,
We're
we
live.
should be cooking. Should be
Awesome.
cooking.
Awesome. All right. So hi, people over on Instagram, more specifically on the Dad Vader's Instagram. So hopefully you guys can hear us and see us. If not, just seeing is fine. Two fine looking dudes. That's all you need. You don't need to hear the
That's all I need.
nonsense,
Yeah.
right? So Ultra Carter, I did watch Terminator Zero. There are some very good elements to the story. Like I mentioned, it I didn't realize that it was basically set in Japan, 100%, and they got a lot more strict um, pew pew rules, right? Than we do. So that kind of gave it a little twist, right? Because every single movie or show for Terminator, the first thing the Terminator does is go to a pawn shop, go to a sporting store, right, and freaking grab every weapon under the sun. But here it's Japan, so only a few policemen actually have, you know, weapons, right? And even then, they're not very powerful. So I did like that detail. I didn't even think about it until I saw it. And the Terminator basically has to rig, some weapons, right? He kind of has to get creative. So I thought that was creative, right, of the show. Um, the animation is fine. It looks a little bit outdated to me in some spots, and I'm sure they had quite a nice budget. So I don't know if it was a creative choice, right, to try to make it seem like It was animation from like the 90s. I think that's where the story's set. So I don't know if they were shooting for that sometimes. Maybe that's on me, and I didn't quite put those two together. Um, but yeah, I didn't care much for the characters, and then they kind of waited till the last episode to sort of want to give you like a plot twist and sort of like leave a few cliffhangers. I'm assuming that was their intent. Um, but yeah, it was fun in some spots. I think it missed the mark overall. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm not a super huge Terminator, fan. Um, but I'm glad that you like it, Ultra Carter. I do like that they're doing new stuff, right? Maybe animated is the way to go for those franchises, because I think we all know that Terminator movies have not been doing great, right? I think it's been miss after miss the past, what is it, like three by now, that have just not been a
Yeah,
box
they.
office success.
I I don't know which direction they were trying to go with the John Connor being the
Yeah.
Terminator.
Oh,
It was a
remember that?
twist,
Yeah.
but yeah, it didn't work. So yeah, I think we just leave it alone. I mean, I think we've ran the course.
I'm kind of there with you on that one. And the last one, what was the last one? Oh, Sarah Connor comes back, right? Like the OG Sarah Connor on that last one. And yeah, I guess even that wasn't enough, right? Schwarzenegger came back for that one too.
Yep.
But um, yeah, I don't think it was. I don't know. I don't think it was what they expected it to be. I think they were hoping for like a whole new relaunch, right? Let's make five more movies, and it kind of fell flat, right? It kind of fell flat on its face. So, yeah, I mean, I still watch them. Don't get me wrong. I've still watched every single one of them. I do enjoy them, or there's parts of each one that I enjoy. But yeah, I think just financially they have not been successful, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's always I don't want to say appreciated that they're still like, hey, we know there's fans out there, they're going to appreciate this, but I mean, it's a business, and
Absolutely.
you've swung three times and you haven't connected. So at what point do you just like park it, or do you go all in on animated stuff? I mean, it's it's kind of a it's kind of a weird spot to be if you're you know a creator of that. So to me, I think you just park it and just let it be.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like I said, I do like the Terminator series exists. I think I'm glad that they're trying new stuff, right? Uh, Obviously, animated lends itself to do a bunch of stuff that you couldn't do normally, right? On the movies, even though they're kind of blurring that limit, right? With special effects and everything, but
Oh
special
yeah.
effects are expensive. So, like what you just mentioned, it is a business at the end of the day. So if they can get away with doing it cheaper and I don't know, maybe even faster. I don't even know how long animation takes nowadays. Um, but yeah, so I'm very glad again that Terminator Zero exists. I do encourage everybody to go watch it because I want more. Even though this one wasn't like a hit for me, I want them to keep trying, right? So
Oh yeah.
go watch it. It's on Netflix. I think it definitely deserves a second season or part two, or I don't know how they're gonna handle it. But yeah, like I said, there were some very original stuff on it, and some that just kind of, like I said, it just didn't connect with me. Um, hey, what's going on? We also got Flex in the house. Hey, General Dad, sup, Bunker Bunch? What's going on, brother? So we are here, about yeah, almost exactly a month away from hanging out, Flex. So pretty excited about that. I still need to buy flights, by the way. Ultracar says Terminator Season not only stars Timothy Oliphant, yes, as a Terminator, but it stars Rosario Dawson as AI Kokoro in the English dub. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it in English. I did not watch it in English. I'm more used to reading the subs, so maybe I need to catch it in English. Maybe that helps. Ultracar says I enjoyed
And
Eiko and
maybe.
Misaki. They were my favorites, and I personally love the development with them. Nice, nice. Um, they should have made a future where, yes, thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I was
Yeah.
actually, um, I was actually on board with the one with Christian Bale. Remember that one? It's like the only one that
Oh
actually
yeah.
takes place in the future.
And I
They all
think
have,
I think that's where they're missing. Like you said
yeah,
exactly. Like they need to like stay away from the original. Like stop time traveling and going back, trying to stop everything. Show us some of the stuff that's going on while John Connor's growing up and becoming this general. Uh, that basically saves humanity. Let's see that story. Let's see some more different characters come out of that. Like uh what was his name? Reese Peanut
yeah.
Buttercup. I don't remember what his
Kyle
name was.
Reese, yeah,
Uh but show, more of his like they kind of did with that film, but like let's do some more. Let's get some other characters going. So if they were to do that, I think I'd be more on board than the repetitive story over and over and over.
yeah, I agree. And again, I remember even back then, right? Because that was like 2008, 2009, when they did that one. And even back then, I remember it was supposed to be a trilogy, right? It was supposed to be the first of a trilogy. It didn't quite work out. I actually enjoyed that one quite a bit because, like I said, I liked the fact that it was in the future. They stayed in the future, right? There was plenty of tie-ins to the original, but it wasn't set in the 90s or the 80s, right? So I appreciated that. I thought it was a good idea. Um, but I totally agree with you, Ultra Carter. I really really want a future centric Terminator, right? And it doesn't have to be like future all the way, right? That is one thing actually that I liked about this one, Terminator Zero. They're in the future, but they're not in the same spot in the future, like timeline wise. They actually go a little bit further into the future. Um, and so I did like that play. Like it's not just like, oh, 30 years from now and then now, right? It was actually 30 years from now. And then I think it was like another 10 years after that or 15 years after that. And some stuff happens. So even more so in the future, right? That affects the same point in the past. So I kind of did like that. I will say that. We didn't really stay like very linear. I did enjoy, some of those points for sure. Ultracard says, I prefer Terminator Zero over Acolyte. I'm glad Acolyte got canceled, as I will never watch it.
Whoa.
Whereas Terminator Zero got me more interested, and Terminator Zero entertained me more. Hey, that's good. I mean, again, I'm not saying one is better than the other by no means. Um, each one has, in my opinion, each one has something good, right, that you can probably enjoy. And both of them have plenty wrong that you can dislike, right? Which one wins? That's up to you. Again, I'm not gonna tell you which one you should like more than the other, right? Um, Trust
Do you
me,
like Pepsi or do you like Coca-Cola? Right.
exactly, right? And again, I am trust me, guys, I am not defending Acolyte at all,
It's
but I
funny
do.
that came up because I just rewatched it binge style.
Oh
My
yeah,
rating went up a little bit. My wife
nice,
cold watched it, and her rating was pretty high on it.
really
So I think
interesting.
binge watching may actually help out some of these series here.
And it's funny, and I've mentioned that I just haven't had the chance, right? I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to just, maybe wait another month or so till things like completely cool off. And then I kind of do want to rewatch it, if I'm being honest. I kind of want to binge it, all the way. Um, Maybe not in one sitting, but, couple of days or so. Uh, because I agree. You know what happened to me was with Kenobi, with the Kenobi show, the series, from a couple years back. I I really liked it. Okay, I think I was one of the few that had really really liked it as it was going on, right, week to week. I'm a little biased, perhaps, but I rewatched it maybe like 6 months after it finished, just over a weekend, and man, I enjoyed it so much more. I was like, dude, what? How did I miss all of this? Like the first time around, and so I'm not saying I'm gonna love the Acolyte. Okay, it's a long stretch, uh, but I kind of agree with you. And I'm curious, to see if it's gonna have that effect on me if I binge watch it. If I think it's gonna be a little bit better. But yeah, Ultracar, trust me, I'm not saying you should like one more than the other. Both have really good stuff on them, and both have stuff that, like I said, it just did not connect with me personally. Again, that's just my opinion. I watched Ramirez here in English dub this week. So, did you watch it in Japanese too? Martha, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming into the stream. Hey, Luis, thank you so much for joining, man. Ultra Cars, the Terminator Salvation, my favorite Terminator. There you go. Yeah, as we all know, Terminator Salvation is the closest to the future war movie. Yes, exactly. And again, I'm sad because I know that it was leading up to right a future war sort of last movie or culmination, right? I would have loved to see that. I still want to see that. And this was like 10 years ago, right? OBP Kenobi Relics joining the stream. What is going on, brother? Hello there, everyone. Thanks so much for coming in, man. General, have you watched the Patterson cut of Obi-Wan? No. And somebody brought it up. So basically, it's my understanding that they took the whole series, right, and chopped it up movie style. And I think it's like an hour and 40 an hour or somewhere around there. Correct me if I'm wrong, OBP. But people say that it's like legit a good cut. Like it's so much better than the show. Again, I enjoyed the show quite a bit for all its faults. Which again, when compared to something like Acolyte, now we're like, all right, that wasn't too bad,
Yeah.
putting things in perspective.
But
Um,
again, like I think the binge watching is the way to do it. And some of these do have that movie vibe to it that it's like, why isn't this on the big screen? Why are we watching this
yes.
in a mini series?
Oh my
Like
lord.
just go ahead and spend the, you know, 20 more million to do the release in the theaters, or maybe more, but I don't know. But again, back to that business thing. Uh and then who knows, are they like, are the fans really going to connect with this? Of course we are, but put it on the big screen. I like my popcorn.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And you and I touched on this briefly. We both watched the first two episodes of Acolyte, right, in the
Yep.
theater, and that helped tremendously, right? Um, that was a whole experience in on its own, and you got to see a lot more of the details, the sets and stuff. Will it fix everything? No, of course not. There's still the plot, there's still the acting, all of that. Um, but man, I'm with you. Like, imagine if we would have seen that last fight between Obi-Wan and Vader
Oh,
on the big screen, on an IMAX screen. Imagine that with the
definitely.
surround sound. Oh, dude, gives me chills just thinking about it. I would pay to see that today. Like, even though I know exactly what happens, I know every scene, I will gladly pay IMAX prices to go see that for sure. Even if it's just
Definitely.
that, literally, even if it's just that last episode, so you get only 20 minutes of IMAX, I don't care. I will pay to see that for sure. We got McClunky saying, Haslag Black Series ATAP, please. Went to a toy store and saw a 3.75 version. Always forget it exists. Would kill for a Black Flag Series 1. Thoughts? Somebody actually built one in the Spice Runners Lounge group. Oh man, who was it? Who was it? Who was it? Dang it, man.
Wasn't uh, I remember seeing it, but I don't know who built it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember and I can't for the life of me. Anyway, Black Series scale, and I think he made it so that different weapon systems were like magnetic, so you could swap out like regular blaster with like rocket launcher, something like that. Now my brain is all foggy, but I remember seeing it because I was like, I want one. Um, so I'm with you, McClunky. I think vehicles like that make perfect sense for a Black Series, right? Uh, Anything bigger than that, it gets pretty tricky, right? You're definitely getting into HasLab territory. 350, $500, right, depending what it is. And obviously not everybody has the space for it. I know I don't have space for it. But for an ATAP, I think I could swing that. um OBP says, not sure of the runtime, but it's good the way they recut it and enhanced it. But I still like the original series. I bought the 4K set, dude. Yes. So
Nice.
um and let me know what you think, Mike. But I've noticed that it's becoming more popular, or okay, I've noticed more people posting about it. Maybe it's always been popular and I just missed it. Of going out and buying the physical media lately, of getting the actual Blu ray disc set, especially those nice like tin ones, like metal box ones. I've seen people that I've that I've followed on YouTube and stuff like that post about it. I guess more often this year. So I don't know if it's like it's if it's becoming more of a thing,
I don't
or
know
if
if
it's
it's the because I mean I like the tins, like
yeah,
that's a collector type thing for me.
agreed.
Um, I don't know if I would actually break open the packages and watch them since I've already seen it. It's just like extremely like crazy bonus footage that's never been seen before. I might do it, but like I own the VHS of all the
Nice.
Star Wars films. I've got all the DVDs. I got the different bundles of them, and they just sit there. But the box is what I was grabbing for the collector
Yeah,
aspect of it. That's what it is. But yeah, I've seen them on shelves, and then I go back maybe a week or two later, and I mean they're not like crazy, like tons of them there. There's like one little section
yeah.
of them, but they're down to like one copy or completely sold out. So I don't know if people are grabbing them to watch or if they're grabbing them for the collecting. But yeah, for sure, definitely seeing an upswing in that. Maybe it's also because we're old, and that's what we were like. Oh yeah, we went to Blockbuster, so
Yeah.
it's that nostalgia that we're grabbing stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it also comes from the fact that streaming has become inconsistent in a way. And what I mean by that is shows that were there, right? Um, Sometimes for years, and all of a sudden you can't find them on like any
Yep.
streaming platform, right? I'm not saying they're gonna take down Obi-Wan right from Disney Plus, but there's also sort of like the editing versions, right? That are not what we saw originally, or they change something, or they cut something, or stuff like that. So I think it also comes from the desire to just have it preserved, right? Like what you actually
Yep.
saw, and nobody can
Or
mess
like
with it,
the
right?
original trilogy, like the
Exactly.
re-release of that, all the additional stuff in there. People absolutely loving the added music scene that we needed. That
Oh,
was
dude,
definitely dragging down the
fire.
whole trilogy until we
Yeah,
got that.
exactly. And it's funny to say that because I have them. I don't know where. I have that DVD box set that came with the original cut of the movies in DVD, and but that was the bonus. That wasn't the main selling point. That was like a feature type of disc that came with the uncut like theatrical release. And I bought them, because I was like, oh, that's cool. And I never and but since they've never released them anymore, so those are kind of like grails, when it comes. And I'm like, I have all three somewhere. Don't ask me where. And I'm like, I really need to like take a weekend and just go through my boxes and freaking find them and make sure they still work. I don't even know if I have a DVD player, if I'm being completely honest with you. Um, I had one at some point, that one of those that it's just like a USB connected, drive.
Mhm.
Um, but what I was gonna say is that's kind of the beauty of physical media, right? You can preserve, right, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Um, and obviously, you don't need internet to watch it. So if your internet is down for whatever reason, if it's the end of the world, you rig up a couple of batteries, you can still enjoy a couple of hours of movies before the inevitable end, right? And so there's added bonuses for sure. And like I said, I think they've been doing a better job with those steelbook. I think that's what they're called, right? Steelbook versions
Yep.
of with those metallic enclosures, right, for the discs. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I wish I could say maybe I need to get back into it, but man, space wise, like I used to have a DVD collection, like I think most of us did, and it just took a ton of space too. But I don't know. Maybe I need to do it for a few releases. Ultra Carter saying, what I love about Terminator series that they brought back the horror elements that was last seen with Terminator 4. The recent series that got me horrified. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely gore also, just FYI. So beware who you're watching it with, or who's around when you're watching, because it is pretty graphic in some spots. Actually, a lot of spots. Now that I think about it. Um, but Yeah, I agree with that. I can see that. That those were some of the elements that I enjoyed the most too. McClunky says love steelbook cases. There you go. For Blu-rays, got Mando season 1 and 2, Obi-Wan and Andor. Love how we get them in physical media. There you go. There you go. Let me know. Let me know, Bunker Bunch. What is your take on having the actual physical copy of it? Right? Is it for preserving? Is it for, hey, nobody can mess with it, right? Or is it just, dude, it looks really pretty on my shelf, right? And it can be all of the above, by the way. It doesn't have to be a single reason, right? But yeah, let me know. All right, let's see here. OBP says, I like physical media better. The quality of the picture and sound is noticeably better. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
you're not relying on your internet connection, right? Technically. Um, which don't get me wrong, streaming looks great for the most part. But yes, a 4K, a true 4K, feed right into your TV is gonna look a lot better. So I agree with that. That's actually a fair point, OVP. Then streaming, yes. McCulloch says, I think the Rogue One Steelbook case might be my favorite Star Wars DVD cover of all time. It's beautiful. Whoa, nice. Maybe I need to look that
Yep.
one up. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it here. Rogue One Steelbook images. Oops. Images. Is it this one on Amazon? Is it this one, McClunky, with the Dead Troopers?
I mean, that's a solid color. I mean, cover, even if it's not the one he's talking about. That is pretty
Yeah.
solid.
Oh, I didn't notice. It's Blu-ray 3D. I didn't know those were still a thing. I kind of like the way the cast is on the side too. I mean, that is pretty solid. But I don't know if that's maybe the version that he was referring to. OBP said, "Is that in 4K?" The Rogue One. John, Big John in the
Big
house.
John right there. Look at that.
What is going on, brother? LFG, howdy boys. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Did you get your blaster already? I know he's pretty quick.
No, actually, I need to get with him because I do need to do that for sure. Ultracard says, "All right, guys, sorry I can't stay. I have to go get my sleep to wake up tomorrow morning for work. See you guys next time." Hey, I appreciate you hanging out, Ultra. Have a good night, get some rest, and have a great day at work tomorrow. Good night, Ultra. Ultracard says, "Good night to you, OBP." McClunky says, yes, one side has stormtroopers and the other side has dead troopers walking on the beach. But that plastic covers it. Oh, okay. I know what you're saying. Yeah, I kind of wish. Let me see. Is there a better image of that? Because I love that. Oh, I see it here, 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 here. Let's show this real quick. Oh, come on. Don't do that. All right, this is definitely not the best picture, but I think it gets the point across. So I think that's what he's talking about with the stormtroopers. Uh, is it on both sides? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Oh, I like that. That's actually
The
really
only
good.
thing I hate about those is it's hard to display both sides.
True. I was just gonna say I would have put the stormtroopers on the front,
Yep.
even though the dead troopers were introduced right in Rogue One. I get that they're more original to Rogue One. I would definitely put the stormtroopers. I love that image of the stormtroopers on the beach. Um, that was my wallpaper for like 3 years, dude. Like it was crazy. But yeah, I like that. I definitely like that. And see, Rogue One would be one to get in 4K because Rogue One is just visually, I love it. Well, the story, I love Rogue One all around. The normal Stormtrooper side is amazing. Agreed. Actually, I think I kind of like that better. John saying Space Gun San Antonio, they'll be ready, dude. I can't wait for Space Gun. And with that, let's take a few minutes actually to talk about it here. So, guys, we got a very, very good show on our hands here. SpaceCon is gonna happen for the first time here in San Antonio. For the first time ever, sorry. It's starting. This is our first show. It will happen October 25th to the 27th of this year. So a little over a month. But guys, just honestly, just with this first row of guests, that's pretty legit. So
Yeah,
we
they're
got,
blowing out the budget here. They're
oh,
dropping some
dude,
names.
they're backing up the money truck for sure on this one. Um, like I said, just with those, just with the trio, right? Just you mean you got Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Snips, right? So that's already pretty good lineup right there. Worth it, to show up for the show. But you got Sabine, you got Ezra as well, you got Moff Gideon, you got Bo-Katan, you got Michael Pena, which doesn't really belong in here, but I kind of wish he did. Not gonna lie, I think I would watch a Michael Pena, uh, telling the events of Mandalorian, season 1, 2, and 3, like him just going at it, narrating the whole thing, and the way he did
Are we
on.
talking like Ant-Man style?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah,
exactly what
okay.
I was thinking. Oh, dude,
That'd be hilarious.
I would pay for a ticket, to go see that. Um, but we're not done, with Star Wars names. Ming
Keep
Na
it
Wen,
going.
yeah, Gina Carano, come on, that's a big deal. All right, Ray Park, Ahmed Best, whom we got to hang out with over in Rebel ScumCon, right? But he's gonna be here, so maybe he'll remember us. We got Mrs. Kenobi, right? General Hera Syndulla herself, Michael Rooker, come on, Sean Gunn, Rose Marquand, and then we start getting a little bit into another franchise called Star Trek, just in case you haven't heard about it. But pretty solid names. Also, William Shatner. I mean, come on, that's pretty cool. And then okay, so we got
Don't
Brent
skip
Spinner.
over Janeway. That was one of my crushes as a kid.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And where are okay here? So it's not just Star Wars, Star Trek. There's also Stargate. Believe it or not.
It's the StarCon.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of sad that Amanda Tapping, canceled because we almost had all of SG1 um, at the show, right? So now we
Do
got
they
half
have
of it.
Jonathan Franks canceled out? Because I know he canceled earlier
I think so.
uh,
I think at some point,
On the Star Trek guys. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Did they mark him though?
it should be a little bit further
Um,
up. I don't know if they pulled him off completely.
they might have, because I think he was early on, right?
Yeah,
Mm,
he canceled. Shoot, maybe 2 months ago. Yeah, it looks like they just completely
I
pulled him
think
off.
they just didn't. Yeah, I think they just didn't add him. Um, yeah. So anyway, guys, the roster is pretty impressive, honestly. For the first time, making this convention here, it's pretty legit. All right. So if you're a Star Wars, Star Trek, Stargate fan, you kind of have to check this out. Again, this is SpaceCon here in San Antonio, October 25th to the 27th. We got a couple of voice actors too, not that many, but yeah. So there you go. We got General Grievous himself, um, and then Rick and Morty, and I wanted to show here. Let me see. Will they show if I go in here? So you got the you have the prices right here, just in case you're wondering. But where is it? Oh, come on. So
Are we talking about the?
there is a night with Hayden and Rosario
Yes.
for
Yep.
Saturday, and that is kind of like a special event. Individually or separate to the convention ticket, right? So it's something that you have to pay for. If you're a VIP, you kind of have already an in for that one. It's included, and then only one admission though per VIP. And then see, when they first launched it, it was actually just Hayden. I don't know if you remember that. And
Yep.
then
It
they
was just
added
him.
Rosario to the show, and they added her to this event. So it's a pretty legit. Um, I'm pretty excited about that one. So yeah, if you're a fan, for sure, come check it out. It's gonna be a good show. We're gonna have plenty of vendors. I think Big John is gonna be there for sure as a
Yep.
vendor,
Do we
and
know
as
if
a
they're gonna
fan.
moderate that one? Because I know when he was in Dallas, he didn't have a moderator.
Yeah,
I think it was just him. So I'm curious, since you are one of the guys that kind of knows some stuff here, uh, will that be
Yeah,
moderated?
my understanding is that there will be, um, but I also think it's a it's a normal length for a panel. I think we're talking like 45 minutes, but that was when Hayden was on, right? I don't know if they're gonna extend that now that Rosario is also uh, participating, right? Um, I'm hoping that it's at least an hour, right?
Yeah.
That they can go for an hour because it's both of them, so they, it's not as tiresome, right, of just being on your own. Um, but what I was gonna say is they just added more tickets to this. They just added more, yeah, more tickets or more space. Sorry,
Was it
uh,
500 more, or
I think it was 500. I think what they did
I
is
don't
they
know if it was
actually
50 or 500,
expanded.
but I know there's a five.
Yeah, I think it's 500. Because I think they added, like, physically they added space to where it's gonna be held, or they moved it to another location within the Coliseum. Um, and so check it out. Like I said, I think it's a really really good show. Um, it's kind of nuts. I'll be honest with you. I think this is probably the biggest. Not probably. It is the biggest convention for San Antonio. I think, especially with Star Wars, that it's our jam.
Yep.
It's pretty stacked. Okay, it's a pretty good show. Um, in general, right? I'm talking like national level. It's a really good show. I know people are flying in just for this, um, and I can't say that I blame them. It's a pretty well put together convention. So make sure to check it out. Make sure you get tickets. Some of the photo ops are sold out, like the duos. The Ewan and Hayden. I
Yep.
think those are sold out already. Or they were last time. Let me double check
I know. As
here.
soon as they announced that they were doing a duo, I
Yes.
upgraded my ticket for that. So
Oh yeah, perfect. Oh look, some of them open up. Yeah, because this was sold out also. Like a few days ago when I looked. So maybe after the stream, I need to jump in here because I don't have
yeah,
that photo up. Okay, so yeah, guys, check it out. SpaceCon San Antonio. Just look for it like that. All over social media. This is the website. You can check out prices and stuff like that. But yeah, I think if pictures or photo ops or autographs are your jam, I think this is a great, great show for you guys. Also, we're gonna be out there. Come on. Um,
oh yeah,
so make sure that you stop by, say hi, get a selfie with us. It's only $5. Just kidding. It's not
small price.
exactly. But get it now, get it autographed, get it authenticated. It's gonna be worth a lot someday. Um, and so yeah, guys, stop by, say hi if you're in the show. We'll be out there covering it. Also being fans, of course. We're probably gonna be out there taking pictures, getting autographs, all that good stuff. And who knows? Maybe we see some familiar faces up on stage. But who knows? TBD.
Yeah.
TBD.
Um, to piggyback off of that, let's jump a week ahead. There was an announcement that was just made. Another voice actor that a lot of us know, Big Texas. You wanna chat up that a little bit?
Yes, sir. I was actually pulling it up here. I thought I had it open. Let me
I
see.
saw this and I was like, holy crap, this is like
Yeah, this one's pretty fun
my
too.
time.
Okay, here we go. So we also have another show. The previous 2 weeks before SpaceCon, right? So on October 11th to the 13th, here in town in San Antonio, we're telling you guys, San Antonio is kind of developing to be quite the con place, to be honest with y'all. Another big, no pun intended, another big convention, which is called Big Texas Comic Con. They just announced Matt Lanner. That's right, your favorite Anakin Skywalker from Clone Wars, and some other stuff, obviously, but that's what we know him for. Also, this show is pretty stacked. I think I'm actually gonna do this photo op here. Um, with Lord of the Rings kind of making a comeback, right? Um, Not that it ever truly left, if we're being honest, but like specifically Lord of the Rings, right? We got Rings of Power back. We're getting that animated feature film at the end of the year, I believe.
I think it's
Um,
the end of the year.
it is right, December, War of the
Yep.
Rohirrim. Um, yeah, so this is pretty cool. There's this one, and there is I saw, or I could have, yes, this one here. So Sean Austin, Elijah Wood, and John Rhys Davis, right? So Frodo, Sam, and Gimli, just in case you want to get them all. This is also going to be happening there at Big Tex. We got some pretty good guests here, especially I think if you are a Cobra Kai, right, fan. So we got Ralph Macchio, we got William Sapka. Just with those two, that's pretty legit. And we got who else? I was gonna oh yeah. So John Berthold's gonna be there. I'm thinking about getting a picture with him. He's pretty cool. I've never met him.
I just sent you something, and maybe that'll be a clue of what I'm trying to do.
Oh snap! All right, need to check it out. But yeah, so he's pretty cool. Um, I enjoy his podcast also. And his portrayal of the Punisher is it's next to none. I believe. Like I think it's the best one we've gotten.
Oh yeah, he is the Punisher right now. Just I was like, there's certain guys that we look at and we're like, nope,
Agreed.
they are this character. Like he's the Punisher.
Agreed.
Like, speaking of one right there, that is
Yeah, I was gonna
Hellboy,
say, and yeah,
hands
that's
down.
Hellboy, Ron Perlman, from a ton of stuff, right? And yeah, so I think this one is a must for me. He's not getting any younger. He's actually not
Yep,
very young, so
that
this is
is
another
definitely a
one.
must for anybody going. I would say you sell out his tickets. Like he needs to feel the love, San Antonio and
Yes.
surrounding areas, and people coming from all over.
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you guys, you can stick around for a couple weeks, hit two major shows here in San Antonio. Let me jump back here into the chat, but I will leave you with also from Harry Potter. Bonnie is also coming, and you can get that dual photo up, which will be pretty cool. All right, let me jump back here into the chat. Oh, fell way behind. Where are we? Where are we? All right. McCullough saying definitely agree. Original troopers on the front, right? I think that would have been a pretty sweet. John saying Rogue One is awesome. Absolutely. I love Star Wars SG1. Me too, man. I did all of it. I watched all 10 seasons, the movies, um, even the original Stargate movie. What's good, fellas? Says Clam Blanderoni. What's going on, man? Thank you so much
What's
for
up there?
joining the stream. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Hey, look who it is. Nilda in the house. Appetite for
Mhm.
Collectible saying, hi, friends. Appreciate you, Nilda. Thank you for joining. OBP saying, hi, Clamby and Nilda. I know. Josue, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you joining, man. Hello, General. And all. And we also got the first sister, Janine, in the house. Listening while driving home from work. Appreciate you, Janine. Thank you so much. Nino Grogu in the house as well. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Hiya, Josue and Janine. And I think we're caught up. All right. So, um, what I wanted to talk about, and I know that we've seen this, um, we kind of got a little bit of an insight, right?
Yep.
When it comes to Ahsoka season 2. So, Natasha Liu Bordizzo, I'm probably chopping up her name, did speak a little bit about what she thinks, right? Because I don't think it's official, will be the timeline of for Ahsoka season 2 in terms of production. I'm not talking about in the show. Um, so at Dragon Con, she basically says that they will film after the Mando and Grogu movie. I keep saying Mando because we meshed those two together. So the Mando, movie, and is basically wrapped up. Right? We know they started filming the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and so once they wrap up, it looks like Ahsoka season 2 is the next one, that they'll jump into, which kind of puts it, into the 2026 arrival time, right? So Ahsoka season 2 to arrive a year later in summer 2026 at the earliest. which is a fair point because remember, Andor season 2 has been wrapped up for a while, guys. They had pretty much wrapped up, I think, at the end of that strike last year. Remember, that was like a year ago by this point.
Yep.
They were pretty much done, right? And then I think they came back, did some few tweaks, finished it off, and they're just been kind of working on it. I'm assuming maybe the BFX. I don't know. The point is that it's gonna come out. What is it in a year? I think it's next September, right?
There you go.
Um, so yeah, it's been a while. Okay, so that show has been almost done for 2 years by the point it releases. So again, it's not official, right? But it does seem that filming for Ahsoka season 2 will not happen for a little while. All right, probably for around a year, right? By the time they wrap up, the Mandalorian and Grogu, they go into post production, then they'll come back. You know, I'm assuming in the meantime, obviously, some of the writing has to happen, right? Get the storyline, get all of the how do you call it? Um, all of the scripts done, right, for the show,
Yeah.
and then start filming.
I think a lot of people also don't realize like a lot of the behind the scenes people, um, the not just the cast, but the crew, that actually do the filming, the stunt people, like there's a lot of preparation that goes into that, and they're usually shared uh through the production of it. So one crew is filming something. Well, most of those people are going to carry over into the next project. So they got to wrap up everything here before they can move on to the next one. Um, and I think we're just trying to learn that it's a pretty tight community, the Star Wars community. Just meeting some of
Absolutely.
the guests and talking to them, like it's a tight family. So it's not, oh, we're gonna go do this, and then somebody else that doesn't really know it's gonna go film this. Like it's actually one cohesive group. So uh, we were talking about that yesterday. That the schedule for Star Wars seems a little slim, but let's just be patient. Let's not get too crazy.
Yeah, agreed. And you bring up a good point because Lucasfilms, right, likes to reuse, quote unquote, actors, right, and stunt performers and crew, even like you said, right, like actual camera people and all that. Um, they they tend to be very recurring, right? Like you said, they tend to work on several shows. And I mean, let's be honest, guys, these dudes need a break too, right? Like they need to get some rest. Some of those shooting schedules are pretty gruesome, right? And so to just dust off and do it all over again for a few months, it's pretty rough. So yeah, I agree. I think, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of like the way they do it. With Lucasfilm, I think that should be how do you call it, more of a rule, right? Or more often that studios do that when they bring back, right, people that they've worked with before, right?
Oh yeah,
Hey, if they did a good job, why not keep reusing them, right? They're capable. They can keep a secret, which is also important
major.
this time around. um and yeah, if the character is a recurring character, or if they can jump into another set of armor or makeup or something like that and pull it off without you giving too much direction, I think it also makes sense. It saves time, which means you're saving money. um so yeah, the news here again comes with the we'll finally get a little bit of a guideline of when Ahsoka season 2 could happen. Again, guys, there's no guarantee. um
Grain
I
of
think
salt.
they Yeah, exactly, I think they will start filming next year, right? But that doesn't mean they'll release a year later. It could be 2 years, by that point. Who knows? Remember, there's still the movies coming. So they're gonna try to focus on that for a little bit too, right? And I think you sent me something here. Let me see. So, ooh, little preview right there.
Yep,
Nice.
I gotta tweak a few things on there, but yeah, I
Love
saw
it.
that. That's one of my favorite comic book characters. So
Oh, absolutely.
I gotta rep it.
For sure. So there you go, guys. If you see something like this walking on the floor of Big Tech's Comic Con, hanging out with John Berthel, I think you know who it is. So stop by, say hi. Dude, that's awesome, man. Now I kind of want to see it live. Okay, so speaking of some of the stuff that we touched upon last time a little bit, but uh Outlaws. So Outlaws didn't the game Outlaws Star Wars Outlaws didn't quite have the best rollout, right?
Yeah.
Um
Was not a home run. We'll call it a double for right now. But
yeah.
yeah, I was literally watching someone play the game, and I guess the whatever the update, they didn't do it, so they got stuck and it just kept on booting them out. And unfortunately, I believe they had to restart, which they didn't want to do. But yeah, little glitch in the matrix there.
Yeah, one purposely put in and right on cue as we're talking about this, we
There he
got
is.
the man,
Yep.
the myth, the legend, Tony from Star Wars Sid saying F you, Ubisoft. Um, yeah, so I was literally about to go through your experience here, Tony. Um, very quickly, for those of you that are not aware, so for the people that bought the, sorry, I'm getting the terminology wrong because I don't remember what it is, but basically the pre-launch, right, game. So if you would pay extra for that special edition or whatever it's called, sorry, early launch edition, you would get, I think, a week or 5 days or something like that early to play it right before everybody else. Tony here, Star Wars Sid 66 here on YouTube, was the oh, see, there you go. Thank you, Tony. So it's called the gold version, and it was $110, right, to get it to play it early for 3 days. Thank you, Tony. You hit all the marks. Appreciate you. Um, and so he got it. He put in a few hours already into the game, right? And then he got hit with that email saying, "Hey, you gotta install this update, right?" Which means you have to restart basically the game. If you don't, then if you continue your original, let's say, save point, right, you will hit progress like blockers.
Yep.
So I think that's what you're talking about, where they're like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going, and then the software just kind of, loop them back because they're like, nope, you gotta restart, you gotta restart.
Yep.
And so Tony went through this whole thing first with Ubisoft, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of done, so just go ahead and restart. And Tony was like, no, man, like I got my streams down to a T. I've already pre-scheduled, I've already got content, planned out, and I already put in, 4 or 5 hours of playtime, right? I'm not gonna, erase those and go back. He's like, you know what? I want a refund. And Ubisoft was like, yeah, best we can do is not refund you. Go talk to whoever you bought the game from. So Tony's like, okay, not cool. I'll talk to Sony because he bought it, I think, on the PlayStation store, whatever it's called. And then Sony's like, did you play it though? Because if you played it, yeah, no, we can't do
Ain't nothing we
anything.
can do.
I mean, come on. What kind of policy is that? Um, and then Tony goes back with that information, right? Back to Ubisoft, and he's like, "Hey guys, come on! Like, you know, uh, look
Spent
at
all
what
this
Tony's
money.
saying. Yeah,
Fan, help
yeah,
me out.
exactly. It's not a couple of bucks, right? $110. That's pretty sizable. Like, I don't care who it is. Like, it's pretty bad. And then they're like, hey, okay, yeah, no, so we're not gonna refund you. We're not gonna refund you. First of all, you still gotta restart. Did we mention you gotta restart and lose everything? Because you really have to do that, right? But we're gonna give you this one item, right, in the game, and then we're gonna give you this like whatever Ubisoft box, right? Like Ubisoft money or points or whatever. I forget what it's called. That has no monetary value technically, right? So no refund, but hey, here's a little didgeridoo that does something or other in the game. Once you get to that point, because again, you got to restart. So Antonio's like, you know what, guys, I'm out. Um,
You put
and
in there 4 hours, right? But like a lot, I've seen a couple people like complain, like just do the update. But when you're making content with that, That
That's
is
what I was gonna say. So
that's not just 4 hours. There's a lot of extra
no,
stuff behind the scenes that people don't realize that we're trying to do for,
yeah,
their entertainment.
exactly.
So yeah, definitely feel the hurt there. Um, but yeah, man, unfortunately a lot of people got hit with that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, guys, to Tony's point, maybe from like you mentioned, right? Maybe from somebody outside of it, they're like, "Hey, it's just 4 hours. Like, whatever, just restart." But Tony's one of those guys that basically has turned YouTube into another full time job, right? So he has a full time job outside of YouTube, and then he does YouTube again, pretty much full time too. So his time is very well calculated, very well organized, and split up into everything he has to do for that week or for that month. Even this man is a freaking machine. Okay, he plans out content like weeks in advance. So this really does throw a wrench into that well-oiled machine. So it's costing him time, and in particularly it's costing him money too, and not just what he spent, I mean, on the game, which again he's kind of lost, right? But I'm saying content wise, like he's generating a certain revenue right from it. So again, it's like a double hit, right? I mean, you're wasting my time, you're making me lose money, and you're basically telling me that there's nothing nobody can do like ever. So I don't know. That's just not how this should be handled. Hey, what's going on, Frankie? Raging Mando in the house, saying there is a refund, but you can't have played more than 2 hours. See, there you go. What kind of rule is that? I mean, I don't know.
I don't know about you. When I
I
get
don't,
a brand new game, especially Star Wars, if I don't
dude.
crack, at least 3 hours of sitting there just
Exactly,
smashing some buttons, you're not a gamer. Like
exactly,
you,
dude. Like
you got to go
I
to town
mean,
on it.
yeah. I mean, 2 hours is honestly it's nothing, especially for this kind of game, right? Which is more open world, a lot of exploring, all that kind of stuff. Like, dude, you're gonna waste, not waste, but you're gonna spend a lot of time, on it. So
Oh,
I don't
with
know,
the what was the Jedi Survivor,
right?
or even or both of them really. Um, I'm like, oh, I've got like 14 more chests I need to knock out. Is that the sun coming up? Holy
Yeah,
crap! I need to go to
exactly.
bed.
Right.
Yeah,
You're like, not again. So dude, 2 hours is freaking nothing between just the installation time, or not installation, but like initial boot up, configuration, making your character, getting all your stuff right. You already wasted like 20 minutes there, right? I mean, let alone, oh, what happens if I go this way, or can I get into a vehicle? Can I try to kick one of the animals? All of that stuff. Like,
yeah.
come on, dude. That's so yeah. 2 hours is nothing. Hey, what's going on? Johnny B. Good says, just subscribe to your channel, brother. This is Big John's Geek Custom. Hey, what's up, Big John? I'm
Hey,
thinking
Big
about the
John.
games, but I know about what's going on right now, cinema wise. Look, just get Star Wars back in cinema, dude. Amen to that. We need it. We definitely need it. It still makes me a little bit sad that it's still 2 years away, right, from from a cinematic experience. But hey, at this point, I say take your time, get it right, get us a good story, good action, great visual effects. Um, make it have substance, make it feel like Star Wars again, and people will go out in droves to the movies for that. So look at what happened with Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool is like on top for what, like 6 weeks straight or something like that. I forget. I think it dipped on one of them, but it's back up this week, something like that. I read briefly on the news. But that's what happens when you think about your audience, right? When you're like, you know what, no, we're doing this because we know what we want to do and we know what the fans want to see, right? So let's just do it right. And they got a insane hit on their hands. Minimize minimize the show, says Johnny. I think they will. I think they will. Acolyte, I think it's definitely going to be a before and after, right? Keep in mind, the next few shows we're going to see, they were well already in the works, right? Some of them pretty much wrapped up. So, Skeleton Crew, that was done. Andor, that was done. Okay, so don't think that we're going to see an immediate change. It's going to take a year or two, right? But I do think they're gonna start thinking more about their investment when it comes to the shows.
Yeah. Um, and there's other stuff out there. I know the rebuild Legos. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but still Star Wars
Yeah.
and Darth Jar Jar. So
Yeah.
definitely something I got to see. So there's stuff like that. You can always go back and rewatch some of these previous ones, and
Oh
maybe
yeah.
they grow on you. I got to go back and watch Solo. Exploring the Force was talking about that one. I was
Yeah, I
okay
saw
with
that.
it, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was. I rewatched. Or I take it back. I rewatched half of it
Mm.
just towards the end, and I did like it a little bit better. So maybe it's something while I got some downtime, I'll go. We're trying to do that right now. Is chronological, go through everything. That's why we started with the acolyte. Uh, so we're gonna try to do that within this month. Is watch everything Star Wars.
Nice.
I don't know if we'll do Clone Wars. We may hop around that one, but definitely the films for sure.
You know what I remember when Disney Plus first launched, those first few months, they actually had Clone Wars in the chronological order.
Yes.
That it was already made, it was like a playlist, right? And then they took it off, and I kind of hate that they took it off because I meant to do that. I've never done that. I've never watched it in chronological, because they skip around. For people that don't know what I'm talking about, Clone Wars through the first, what is it, 4 or 5 seasons, I think, right? Which was the TV show, right? And then season 6 came out to Netflix. Season 7 came back to Disney Plus, right? So the first 5 seasons, there's some episodes in there that happen before earlier episodes. So basically, you might see, let's say, an arc of the one I remember is the clones, right? Like fives, heavy, all those guys. Um, so you might see a piece of the story in season 2 that's actually ahead of an episode that comes out on season 3, right? So they kind of hopped around a little bit in the timeline within the show, right? It wasn't linear, is what I'm trying to say. For the most part, it was, of course, but there are a few that skip around, they jump backwards, right, or they jump forward, etc. So when Disney Plus launched, they had it all arranged, right, just for you to hit play, and you would get to see them in chronological. And I regret not doing that, honestly. But it's one of those things that I'm like, it's always gonna be there, right? No, it wasn't. It actually didn't last that long, if I remember correctly. I don't know that it made it for a full year. I don't remember. Somebody in the chat correct me. But the point is that there's lists out there, of course, that you can go and check off and manually, go through those episodes. But I'm lazy. I'm like, man, there was already a playlist there. Like,
Yeah. I want to
just
click one button and just sit there.
exactly, and just sit there for 300 hours or so and just enjoy it. Uh, John is saying, now don't get me wrong, the shows have been great. Soka was really good. The Clone Wars stuff, Bad Batch has been great, but enough is enough. Get it back in cinema. Yeah, I have no problems with the shows in general, but I do agree we need Star Wars in the big on the big screen. I think they should have complemented, right? Give us one movie, 2 movies here and there, right? And the shows, I get it. You want people to go to your platform, that's fine. But Star Wars belongs in cinema. Like Star Wars belongs on the big screen. So I'm right there with you, John. So Reggie Manis, have you guys checked out Star Wars Genesis? Ooh, no, what is that? 100% says Tony. OVP says, haven't heard of Star Wars Genesis. No, me neither. I'm downloading it right now. It has the Yuuzhan Vong in it too. So it's a game? Is that what it is? Greetings, Masters LGP. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you joining. Sol is so much fun after he leaves Corellia. Yeah, I can see that. That's actually a good point. Yo, what up? Says that Vader. OBP says, hey, LGP. What's going on? I'm in the Legacy of Nerd in the house. I feel like I got through Clone Wars pretty quick. You know what? That's another thing because I was watching Clone Wars from like the beginning. Uh, and I'm not gonna lie, and I don't care if I catch flack for this one. It was a drag for that first season. All right, some of
I was
those
about to
episodes,
say,
yeah,
once you cross season one and halfway through two,
yes,
it does take off, and you can sit there easily knock out 4 or 5 episodes like
oh for
just
sure,
one bag of popcorn.
yeah, oh
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it definitely and that's what I think deterred me in the very beginning is that I started watching it when it was
Absolutely.
first coming out, and I was like, "Man, this is hard to watch," and I just
Hmm.
like stopped watching it. Then years later, which I think benefited me, uh, being able to understand the stories better. Uh, yeah, I was able to get through season one, and then just took off on me.
Yeah, yeah. Season one felt like a chore, to be honest with you. It's like, ugh, I really really want to like this, but it's not happening. Now I didn't hate it. I'm not saying that, but some of them were like a hard pill to swallow. Right? I was like, oh, I don't know where we're going with this. Um, Again, it's been ages since I've seen season one because of that. I think I've only rewatched it once, complete, and then bits like here and there. Um, so I'm down for a rewatch, is what I'm saying, and I think it will definitely help. Right, going back to it. Um,
I
Season
think it
two,
helps everything to go back and rewatch,
yeah. Oh, I agree.
especially
At least,
like we can binge it all now. So I think that's the
yeah,
way to do it.
yeah, I agree. And like I said, I want to do the chronological, right? So I want to
Yeah.
find that list and try to go at it that way, see if that makes a difference. I think it will. Um, Season two, again, I've said it before. My favorite episode, season two, episode five. It was just too early in the season, the season peaked for me way too early. So episode five was like peak of the season, and I'll be honest with you, kind of the show. I absolutely love that episode. It's hands down like probably my favorite animation thing that came out of the Clone Wars. Um, and there's some good stuff in there, in Clone Wars. Not everything is gold. I think people tend to forget that, right? There's some episodes that
Oh
are
yeah.
like, wow, this was a waste of an episode. All right. But, there are not that many and they're a little bit spread out. So it doesn't feel too bad. After that first season, again, disclaimer, that first season is a little bit rough. All right. It's a little bit rocky. Let's see. LGP says, hey, Obi. OBP says, same here, Legacy. I binge watched Clone Wars during the pandemic. There you go. We all had maybe a little bit more time than we wanted back then.
Oh yeah.
Uh, Legacy Nerd says, I've never finished the movie though. Yeah, the movie was an acquired taste. But again, to your point, I actually saw the movie at the movies, in theaters. Um, People tend to forget that it actually came out as a release, in theaters back in 2008. That's why I enjoyed it more, I think. Again, just seeing it on the big screen with great surround sound. Uh, Same OBP says, Legacy Nerd. And whoops. OBP says, the Doors in the Desert with the mini gear guy arc with the mini general guy arc, least favorite. Yep. Yeah, like I said, there's definitely some stuff that is not great. But let me wrap up here on this Ubisoft thing. So basically, the shares take a hit, um, lower than expected. Star Wars Outlaw sales, and come on, I mean, when you make such a poor experience, right, for your most, I would say, um, for your best customers, right? The people like
Your
Tony that are willing
diehards.
to spend exactly, they're willing to spend $110 on the gold edition to get it early and all that stuff, and you kind of disappoint them that way, and then you double down by saying, "Hey, I already told you what to do, and if you don't, well, that's it for you, right? Like you're just gonna be stuck in a loop." Um, that's not, that's just not the way to do it. You can mess up. There's always, mistakes, right, when rolling out a new game. But it's how you handle them, right? It's how you handle those mistakes that really count. Um,
Customer is always correct. Customer
it,
service is
yeah,
key.
man.
They fumbled right there. I mean, like you said, I've played tons of games and there's always a glitch. There's
Yep.
always something that people are ripping on. This one was a major fub. And instead of just taking it on the chin and just, coming in and supporting your people, uh, they put a horrible band-aid on it and said, too bad.
Yeah. Exactly. Um, yeah, and I hated the verbiage that they use when Tony was sharing his email, basically saying, "Hey, yeah, the developers already did this, so there's nothing I can do as a customer, service rep." And I'm like, "All right, first of all, y'all are the same company, right? Like, you gotta show face, like as one entity, right? You can't just tell me, hey, the nerds with the coding, I don't know what they did, but they said you have to restart. So don't yell at me. I'm like, no, come on, that's a cop out. Like, just say, hey, you know what? This is the best solution that we got. I apologize, but here is a partial, refund. We're gonna refund you the portion of the money that gave you the gold, tier, let's say. So we'll give you back $40 or whatever it is, like something like that. I don't know. Like, I feel that there was many other ways to sort of handle this that would have just left, the best customers that they had, right, more satisfied. So also keep in mind, a lot of these customers, again, like Tony, I keep bringing him up because I saw what happened with him, right? Um, and like many others, are content creators. So what do you think is going to happen when gamers watch those content creators, right, and they see that they're getting shafted? You think those gamers are going to be like, you know what, that's awesome, I'm going to go support this game?
Yeah. I need to go drop $70 right now to go do this.
Exactly, right, because they're such an awesome company. No, again, it's just like they double down, right? Like, you let your fan base down, and therefore that spread to the rest of, maybe not the diehards, right? um so yeah, this shouldn't be a surprise, honestly, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know what they expected on this one. um Aside from those initial big hiccups, right, from the couple of people that I've seen play it, and it looks good. um I don't have much interest on it, if I'm being honest. This kind of game is not my main cup of tea, mainly because of time. Nothing to do with the game itself. It's just I don't really have time to sink in um, hours and hours on sort of this like bigger, more exploration type, right, of gameplay. I will play it at some point for sure, but I'm not in a hurry, basically, to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. At first I thought maybe, but then, thinking about it, it's like with both of the Cal Kestis games, I waited, and it wasn't a game that blew my socks off. Like, yeah, there was some cool stuff in there.
Agreed.
But it's a grind game. Like, if
It
you
is.
want to unlock stuff, like you're constantly on just a mission, you're exploring. Those games, like you said, you got to set some time to
Oh
to
yeah.
do them. Um, yeah, that's I'll wait for a little bit, let all those bugs get fixed,
Exactly.
and then I'll jump in just to get it out of the system.
Yeah. No, I agree. Even with what is it? What's the second one? Survivor, is the second one Survivor? I always get
Yeah.
them mixed up. Sorry. I haven't even finished it. I never really finished it. And it's very much a grind, like you said. And yeah, I agree. I wasn't super fan of the gameplay itself, or like some of the controls. Um, but the story is pretty entertaining, right? Like, the story is
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
So it's one of those things that I keep telling myself, yeah, one day I'll have time, and it hasn't happened yet for a couple of years. Let me jump right back into the chat. So, Raging Mando says, Star Wars Genesis, a Star Wars mod for Starfield. It is basically a new game. Interesting.
Hmm.
Very interesting. It's been a while since I've modded one of my games, like a good while. Thanks, Raging Mando says OBP. Johnny says, what Disney is doing with the Clone Wars stuff is great. I can knock them on that. It's really good. Yeah. Um, Season 7, minus the sisters, stuff, was pretty dope. Was pretty dope. Bringing back Ray Park for Darth Maul, that was
Yep.
so perfect. Yeah, so I agree. For the most part, Clone Wars is pretty legit. Bad Batch was really good. Bad Batch was hit and miss for me. All right, overall, I'm not saying I didn't like it. There was stuff that I loved about it, like so good.
I was
Eh,
about to say, I think for me the jury's still out. Like, same way.
Yeah,
Like, there's a few episodes I'm like, did we really need to have the pod
Exactly.
racing tech
Yeah.
one like that, like really did we need that? But then you go and you kill tech, like spoiler
Yeah.
alert, sorry,
Sorry.
and you jerked like at my tears, I mean, okay, that's pretty good. So I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are forgetting that there were some duds in there. They're thinking of
Oh,
the home run that they hit on a few episodes.
yeah, exactly. And to me, I'll say it till they give me what I want. They teased me with Cody season
Oh,
2,
so many times, yeah.
and then they gave me exactly what I wanted in that episode. And then they're like, you know what we're gonna do now? Never show him to you again, or mention him for that matter, in the next 2 years, right? Till the show is done. We won't talk about him anymore. I'm like, what? This was the whole point for me of season 2, right? I was like, yes, Cody, let's see what he's up to. Because we know more or less what Rex has been up to, right?
Yep.
And we had a good idea even before the show. But Cody is kind of like a blank slate because we knew what happened in Legends, right? That's not canon anymore. So this period was kind of like you know a black box, right? And then we finally see him, and like, all right, he's still active. He's with the Empire, and then at the end of that episode, he's not. So I'm like, all right, let's go. What is he doing? Is he training rebels? Is he recruiting more clones? Is he helping Jedi, on the path? Um, Nothing, dude. Nothing. Not for season 2. If we go back into season 3, I'm like, all right. At some point, when the cavalry arrives and all of the clones that we know get together, Cody's gonna be no. You get nothing. So you get a bunch of no-name clones that we haven't seen before. Uh,
I was expecting a twist
oh,
of maybe they caught him and brainwashed him to be the assassin type
dude,
and like,
yes, something.
something,
Yeah,
but nothing.
something to wrap it up. No, not even. Not even something to leave it as a cliffhanger, really, right? Um, that they say, hey, Rex and Cody got into some bad stuff. They're tied up. They can't come help us. Not even that, dude.
Nothing.
I'm like, so that is. I'm sorry, Cody's my man. So he's the leader of the 212. Um, yeah, they did him wrong. They did him dirty. So I didn't enjoy that. So that's why I can probably never say that Bad Batch was a good show because they just they're like, oh, you want this? I'll give it to you for one episode out of the entire show, right?
Mhm.
And then we'll never speak of it again. So not cool, guys. Not cool. If you watch chronologically, remember to start with Acolyte. I meant Clone
Right?
Wars chronologically, but you're not wrong. Uh,
Right. We already got through the Acolyte
yeah,
rewatch and first time watch, so
yeah,
we're on to the next.
yeah, I know. Brett saying play when it goes on sale, bro. Yeah, yeah, I'll wait. Like I said, I'm in no hurry. Even if I
Waiting for
buy
that
it
Walmart
tonight,
green sticker.
yes, even if I buy it tonight, I won't play it for months, guys. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm being honest. McClunky says, speaking of games, haven't had a chance yet, but you guys play Star Wars Hunters yet? I made an account. I went through the tutorial, and that was it. So that's the mobile game. It's kind of like a class, how do you call it? A kind of like a platform game, right? So it's you can have like melee attacks if you're a Sith, blaster if you're like a trooper. There's some different like classes, right? Like tanks, and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, it was cool. I haven't gone back to it if I'm being honest, McClunky. I don't know if you guys have played it. Like I said, I did the initial, tutorial and like the first, few mock-up battles, and that was it. I didn't really go in any further than that. Yes. So Brett saying, McClunky, isn't that a mobile? I think it is. I love Bad Batch. She has some filler, but in each one, there's a tie in to either a character or the story as a whole. Again, dude, to me, biggest plot hole is Cody. So I'm sorry, but I cannot defend it. McClung is saying it's on Switch. It might also be. Oh, I didn't know it was on Switch. Um, Interesting. Maybe I'll check that out. I think I might enjoy that better on the Switch. Um, OBP is saying like the pod race episode, we get in with Tech and we see the darker side of Sid. Yeah, we I'll be honest with you guys, when we had that pod racer episode, I was like, all right, Tech is out. Tech. Now I didn't think they were gonna unalive him, to be honest with you, but I did think they were gonna brainwash him, put a new chip in and make him like, follow orders. um, or how do you call it? Like capture him and maybe like freeze him or something like that. But I'm
Yeah.
like, we're losing tech somehow. I applaud the choice to unalive him, but I applaud even louder the choice to leave him
Leave him,
unalive.
definitely.
That that I'll be honest with you, I didn't think they were gonna do. I hope they would, but I was like, there's no way. He's probably one of those, special operative, clones.
Yeah, the assassin ones, yeah.
Exactly. I was like, he's got to be one of those, and he wasn't. So I was like, you know what? Good on you.
I like how
Good
they
on you,
his glasses, like, they
dude.
with
Yeah,
the crack, I'm like,
exactly. They're still there on the
that's how you do
console.
it.
Yes,
That's how you do it.
that's you don't say it, right?
Yep,
But we
making
all
it
know
hurt.
it's there. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I totally vibe with that. I was like, dude, good job. Like, thank you for doing that. Now, that is not to say he can't come back in some other way, shape, or form in a comic book, game, or another TV show later on. But at least for the Bad Batch, I applaud that they didn't. They're like, you know what? This happened. It sucked, and it's gonna stay. So I was like, all right, you know what? You win on that one for sure. Hey, what it's up, my brother Archers from Nerd Affiliating saying, what's up, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me, and I appreciate you. Cody, filthy traitor. Hey, hey. He missed the shot on purpose. All right. He let Obi-Wan live. Let's see. I'm shocked they kept him. Yeah, I'm telling you, dude. I didn't think they were going to do it, but they did, and I was like, all right, like thank you guys. Now, that last episode when they activate the rest of the assassin guys, right? I was like, damn it, man, don't do it. Don't do it on the last episode, please. And thankfully they didn't again, so I was like, all right, thank you, well done. Obi pieces, I honestly think we're going to get another animated series that follows the clones. See what happened to Rex and Cody. They can't just leave that hanging. I i hope so, because I was not satisfied, with the Cody handling at all. So
I do hope it's misdirection because they said that they're going to stay away from the Clone War era, that this was pretty much their last dip into it.
yeah,
And that, I
which
think they said that right after Bad Batch. So
yes, yeah,
times
but
change definitely, and that's great source material for us. So I don't
oh
see
dude,
why they would, but
yeah,
maybe let it breathe for a little bit and then
that's what I was gonna
come
say.
back and hit us with some stuff.
Yeah, maybe give us a couple years off, right? Off of it. But let's be honest, that episode with Asajj Ventress, that was a pilot episode for an Asajj
Oh yeah,
Ventress show.
definitely,
Like
definitely.
that's gonna happen, and I'm all for it. Uh, that episode was one of the best ones for sure in the season. It's just one of those things that I'm like, damn it, man, why did they have to show it to us so early on with those trailers? Like, and they keep going at it. I'm like, we're already watching, guys. Like, come on. Um, that would have blown my mind to see a such Ventress, just pop up without knowing what was going to happen. Oh, I wish I could have,
Yep.
not seen that. Um, OBP says, really, that would suck if they left it. I think they will, and I'll be honest with you. I think they kind of need to. They like Mike said. I think we need a little bit of a breather. Don't get me wrong. I love the Clone Wars era just as much as everybody else, but um, I think we need to take a little bit of a break. I'm not saying don't ever go back to it. I would definitely not mind another Bad Batch type of show, right? Animated show. Hopefully now that follows Rex and Cody as they train, rebels and save younglings and all that stuff. Um, but yeah, let's take a little break. I think Bad Batch happened a little bit too fast. Um, so yeah, let's give it like a year or two. Uh, okay, and then um, what was? Oh, so I saw you post this, Mike, and well, technically, I think George posted. Oh, come on,
Yep. I saw his post and I went to go check it out.
yes,
And wow, that was really impressive. Yeah, if you pull it up, if you're following me, It's in my story. Click that
Yes,
link, go to YouTube, or you've got it right there.
yeah,
That is quite impressive.
dude. Yes, I had no idea this existed until first of all until Dad Vader shared it, and then I saw that the Medinalorian, right, George from the Hyperdrive shared it, and it's totally a watch. I haven't seen it. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, so I just skimmed through it real quick just to take a peek. But basically, the channel called Spiky Tortoise did an animation, right, for Dark Empire. You know, the comic book from back in the '90s, early '90s, if I'm not getting my dates mixed up. Um, and here's a little bit which I kind of love is some of the aesthetic matches, the comic book, right? If you guys read it back then, it had some of this like different shading on the same colors. This here, those backgrounds like that, like violet and scarlet mixed like colors, and it's an animation.
Now, I believe he said they worked on this for 6 years.
Oh, I believe it.
Um, but uh, but yeah, dude, it definitely uh was a work of art and passion.
Oh,
Definitely worth
dude.
the watch.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, it's on my story if you're following me there. I don't know if we can share links on YouTube, but definitely if you could repost that one because that one is worth the watch.
Yeah, you know what? I will do that right now. Um, whoops. What did I do? Okay, let's try that again. I will post it here in the chat so everybody can go check it out. I don't know these guys. I don't never talk to them or anything like that. I just learned about this today. Like I said, thanks to the Dad Vader. Also, you guys are definitely want to be following him. So check him out over on Instagram. That's him right there on the screen. The Dad Vader over on Instagram. Check him out. He's way better at Instagram than I am. So you will not be disappointed. And again, he shared this story, which I missed from George, but I saw Mike's, and then I went back and got the link. So check it out. The link is right there in the chat, guys. Um, yeah, this is kind of awesome. I really, really hope they do good. They're tracking very well. I think it was published 4 days ago. It's got 63,000 views. I'm sure it's going to get a few thousand more just by tomorrow, to be honest.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
George has a pretty big following. Um, and so that's only going to boost it. So go check it out, guys. Again, Spiky Tortoise. Not again, I don't know them. I'm sure they're cool and everything, but I just love when people do this kind of work, right? Out of love for the franchise. So check it out. Ah, that scared me. Um, Stupid freaking ads. Anyway, watch the ads though, because that'll give a few cents, to the creators. I'm just saying, I
Oh
don't know if
yeah.
we can show it here. So definitely, guys, check it out. It is there in the chat. So very, very cool. Love it. It looks like a great, great work of art. Um, yeah, it's definitely worth the watch. Okay, so let me get back here into the chat, and I think it's getting to be that time. Gotta start wrapping up. Gotta catch some Z's. Um,
Yeah. I don't know
where are
about you,
we,
man, but it feels like we just started. Like
dude? Right?
the more and more we're doing this, it's just like time is flying by as we're chatting. We
Yeah,
could
man.
go off topic for like 30, 40 minutes,
Yeah.
which I'm down for. But yeah, I appreciate everybody being here and y'all make it fun.
Oh, absolutely. And as always, Bunker Bunch, we appreciate you hanging out with us. We appreciate you keeping the chat going because, that helps us feed off and know that we're not just streaming out there into the ether. But what are we? Okay. Nerdophilian said, I think most people have already forgotten about Bad Batch. Yeah. Ba- I said it since honestly, since the first season, since the first few episodes. I think Bad Batch, the Bad Batch, the characters, Clone Force 99, serves a lot better as like supporting characters, right? Not so much as main characters. And again, everybody has their own opinion, but I think I was proven right because um, the best parts of the seasons were when Cody was there, right? When Asajj Ventress was there, when when Kanan Jarrus was there. That first episode of Bad Batch, oh my lord, dude! Like the very first one, when they're executing or not executing Order 66, dude, that episode is fire. Like they nailed it so well. They gave us so much stuff on that one. Um, but even like Omega, right? Omega had to be kind of brought in to be sort of like a main character, right? That the other clones rotated around. So yeah, I always wonder how they were gonna pull it off with the clones being the main characters, right? Technically, and again, kind of hit and miss, right? For me, um, still, if you haven't seen it, I'm not trying to deter you from watching it. Definitely go watch Bad Batch and form your own opinion. There's some awesome stuff in that show, like just some of the best Star Wars, like period, right? But not all of it. Not every episode is a banger, right? Basically,
I did
um,
like when they brought in like unknown clones like that we
yes,
haven't heard about. Like when they brought them in, those episodes to me were a lot better when it was focused on like, Wrecker's scared of heights and has to overcome his fear. Like
yeah,
I can do without those episodes,
agreed.
but when you bring in these troops that have been just basically abandoned and they have to fend for themselves, fire episode.
Dude, that episode, remember with the what was his name? Was it Mayday? The clone commander with all the bandages, right? Like on it, because their armor was so beat up already.
Yep.
In a
Duct tape
single
and bubblegum to survive.
yeah, exactly, right? It's being held by Bubblegum and Hope. Um, in that single episode, I felt that made they made that clone, right? That we've never seen before and we never saw again, right? He was just there with us for one episode. They made him more interesting than most of the Bad Batch, than most of like
Yeah.
Clone Force 99. Um, so I'm like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Look, you guys can make great stories, great dialogue, that resonates with the people, but maybe not every episode, right? Like maybe you can't produce that on a week to week basis, but that
I
is
think the
one of the
only one that really drew me in was Crosshair. Like his
agreed.
storyline was probably the best one out of all of them.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, and then there were some inconsistencies. There was plenty of stuff because if
Oh,
you remember, Hunter had this weird like powers when he came out in Clone Wars for the first time. He could like feel electromagnetic waves, like he could detect changes in the electromagnetic like spectrum, and then they never did that again. I was like,
it's just like the was it the speed from Phantom Menace where they
Phantom
used
Menace, yeah,
the yeah, only
yeah.
seen it once.
Exactly.
Don't
We're gonna
ever
use
touch it again.
yeah, we're gonna use force speed, the first 5 minutes of the movie, which is dope, and then you will never see it again for the next 15 years.
Yep.
Donor Feeling says, love that video. Oh, I'm thinking of something else. I'm gonna watch after this. Yeah, dude, it's good. Again, I've only seen bits and pieces. I haven't seen the whole thing. I will after this though. Um, Johnny says, bro, they gave us some depth in Clooney's Bad Batch. Captain Howard, bro, freaking there you go, Mayday. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm all about
Yep.
the colonists. I think he meant clonies. I love that they gave us some depth with them as far as Cody goes. See, that's the thing. They gave me everything I wanted about Cody in that one episode. Obviously I wanted more. I was like, okay, this is the start of Cody's, arc. No, I'm like, okay, he'll show up at the end of the season. Nope. I was like, okay,
Yep.
for sure. The last season, uh, season 3, they said that's it. This is the last one. It's ending, right? Not being canceled. It's ending. There's an actual end to it. I was like, okay, Cody has to come out, right? They don't got any more episodes after this. Nope. So yeah, not cool. Yeah, when I'm with Cody, you got me there. Yep. Yeah, first episode landed. It had to be Dark Show. They kept trying Kitty stuff. Yeah, and that's also a good point because they kept flip flopping, right? Between like, oh, one episode you get like war crimes, like Mayday being disposable, right? Being unalived by his own commanding officer, and then the next one you get a pod race. So you're like, I'm kind of, you kind of have to keep me at least 2 3 episodes in the same
Yeah.
lane, right, before you completely take me on a 90-degree turn. um so I agree with that. Maybe the order of the episodes could have been better, right,
Yeah.
arranged.
Real rearrange.
Exactly.
We lose Tech next episode, Wrecker learns how to make balloon animals.
Exactly, pretty much, right? So I'm like, I hate that, like it's like a bump in the road, right? You're like, dude, I was gaining some speed, and all of a sudden, I had to slow way down.
Yep.
OVP says, yeah, it could have been a bit darker. I think so. I think they know enough to be sure who their audience is, right? It's people that watch Clone Wars, and people that watch Clone Wars, they are what was that, 2008 when it began. So by the time of 2022, they're not kids anymore, right? Even if you were a kid back then, you're not a kid anymore. So it's pretty safe to say that mostly grown-ups were watching. Nerdfilin says the highs are high and the lows are low. Too many missions to get something versus them trying to help clones. That should have been the main focus. 100% agree. OBP says the side missions were BB learning where they fit after just being a soldier. When being a soldier your whole life is kind of laid out. I agree, but also
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit too much. I totally agree. That is something I wanted to see, right? Because I'm like, okay, what happens with the clones now? And they did touch on it at the beginning of season 3, which I was very glad. Because remember when that senator was meeting with the other senator, and they're like, "Hey, we gotta help the clones. The Empire's not doing anything for them. They want to retire them. But what does that mean? Do they get pensions? Do they get relocated?" I was like, you know what? This is interesting. This is a little bit of what I want to see. But then it kind of fizzed out, right? Nothing really came off of it. OBP
Yep.
says after service, give a major life adjustment unless you've served. It's kind of hard to explain. Hey, I didn't get the privilege to serve, but I think I understand what you're saying. And again, that is definitely something that I wanted to see from the Bad Batch. And they started to show us that, a little bit. But then again, we kind of went off to the races, right? We kind of were jumping around. So I don't feel that it landed as hard as they meant it to be, right? But before we leave here, guys, I would greatly appreciate it if you check us out over on Instagram, the Dad Vader. That's posted here on the screen. And for those of you that are listening on Instagram on his profile, appreciate you guys for joining. And make sure to stay tuned. We are going to be doing a few other things here going forward. Also, check us out on Facebook, General Kenobi's Bunker. On Instagram, general.kenobis.bunker. The same way over on Threads, general.kenobis.bunker, because it basically grabs your Instagram user and just copy paste it over to Threads. So we are posting on Threads. I'm trying to be a little bit better about it, but we are over there too. And then on TikTok at general_Kenobis_bunker. Appreciate each and every single one of you joining. Thank you for hanging out. This was super, super fun. Like Mike said, we could probably keep going, but it is getting a little bit late. So I hope that you have a great rest of your week. The weekend is just around the corner, so just hold on tight there a little bit more. Um, Let me know if you guys are enjoying Outlaws, if you're even playing. I think here in the bunker we're gonna wait for a little bit. Um, Also, check out SpaceCon, check out Big Tech's Comic Con, and I forgot to mention, and I should have, but we're out of time. Check out ICCC Con. They just announced their final guest for this year. It is a great roster, great artists, great vendors. Nashville, Tennessee, October 4th to the 6th. I'm getting those wrong. Um, it is the 3rd, sorry, through the 6th in Nashville, Tennessee. Make sure you check it out. There's still
You'll
tickets. You
be
can
out
still.
there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, don't.
I'll be out there for sure. A bunch of us will.
If you're out
So
there, make sure you find them. Say what's up.
yeah, absolutely, guys. Stop by. There's gonna be a bunch of us, I think, at ICCC. So you're gonna see definitely gonna see some familiar faces. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm trying to arrange, basically a sleepover. When we all get together and have pillow fights. People don't want to join me for some reason, but anyway, it's gonna happen. So yeah, guys, if you're out there on the show, make sure that you stop by, say hi. Let me know what you're hunting for, because that show brings out the heat when it comes to the figures. Um, October is
Good
kind of
old wallet
stacked.
buster.
Yeah, I was gonna say I am already trembling for October because we got quite a bit going on. But it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great to see you guys, some of you guys, for the first time in person. So make sure that you stop by, say hi, let's hang out, and let's go hunt some toys right out there. And once again, check out SpaceCon here in San Antonio. Check out Big Tech's Comic Con here in San Antonio in October as well. Oh, also, man, I keep forgetting. NostalgiaCon Houston. We will be out
Oh
there
yeah.
in December. I forget the dates. I think it's the first weekend of December. Anyway, check it out. NostalgiaCon over on Instagram. More than likely, yes. At least it's the plan right now to be out there in December over in Houston, Texas. All right, that is gonna do it. Anything else, Mike, that you got going on?
Um, I know we got some horror cons coming up locally too.
We do.
Cursed City is coming up this weekend. I'll be out there, so if anybody's out there, check it out. If not, I mean, I don't think tickets are too expensive. Grab a ticket, still available.
Yeah, for sure. And we have when is Alamo Hero Con? Is that in October also? I think it's in September still. Man,
I
I'm
think it's
getting my
September, maybe
dates
the last
blurred
weekend
out.
of September.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Our good friend Leilani is coming back into
Nilani
town.
will be here. Yep,
Yeah, so we'll probably stop by, hang out with her for a little bit. But yeah, guys, we got quite a stuff going on. So if you see us out and about, make sure to say hi. If you're gonna be at any of these cons that we mentioned, let us know. Let us know. And we'll definitely hang out. And yeah, like I said, come over, say hi. We'll be having little giveaways and like stickers and patches and stuff like that. So make sure you stop us and you let us know and we get at least a free sticker out of it. Okay, with all that, that is gonna do it. Thank you again for everybody hanging out. Bunker Bunch, I always appreciate you joining. Thank you for hanging out for another episode of The High Ground here on this fine Wednesday night. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great weekend. Um, Consider rewatching The Acolyte, right? Maybe binge watch it. Let's see. I kind of want to get some
definitely,
opinions going on. You know,
definitely do it.
yeah. You're kind of convincing me to. All right, that is gonna do it. Thanks again. We'll be in touch, and may the force be with you.